In a village where secrets hide in shadows, Amaka's life changed overnight. Gold coins appeared like magic, but at what cost? What dark secret lies beneath their sudden riches? Stay tuned to uncover the mystery behind. Her unborn children are all snakes. Once upon a time, in a quiet village in Nigeria, there was a family. The father, Chijioke, went far away to another district to do business. He left behind his wife Amaka and their 10-year-old daughter Ifunanya. To survive, Amaka and Ifunanya would go to the forest every day to dig for potatoes, to eat and sell at the market. One day, while they were digging near a large mound, Amaka slipped into a deep hole. She was scared and looked for her hoe, but it was missing. Suddenly, she heard a strange voice coming from the mound. "Who dares to disturb my home?" the voice asked. Amaka was frightened but replied, "I am just a poor woman trying to feed my family." The voice continued, "I will return your hoe, and give you more wealth than you have ever seen if you agree to be my wife." Without thinking much, Amaka, who was desperate, agreed. Suddenly, a large snake slithered out of the hole and crawled into her mouth. She was too afraid to scream and did not understand what had just happened. That night, Amaka sent Ifunanya to a nearby village, Dambok, to fetch a snake as the voice had told her in her dream. When Ifunanya returned with the snake, Amaka placed it in her room and slept beside it. As soon as she fell asleep, the snake transformed into a handsome man. The man whispered to Amaka, "Now that you are my wife, you will never be hungry again." For the next few weeks, Amaka and Ifunanya found gold coins in their home every morning. They were able to buy food and new clothes, and everyone in the village wondered where they got their sudden riches. Months passed, and Amaka's husband, Chijioke, finally returned home. To his great shock, he saw that Amaka was pregnant. He could not understand how this had happened, as he had been away for almost a year. He questioned Amaka, but she only smiled mysteriously. Then he asked Ifunanya, "My dear daughter, do you know how your mother became pregnant?" Ifunanya, who was scared, whispered, "Papa, every night Mama sleeps with a big snake, and in the morning, the snake turns into a man." Chijioke was very angry. He decided to come up with a plan to catch the snake. Chijioke told Ifunanya to call the snake, pretending it was Amaka calling. Ifunanya, though frightened, obeyed her father. She went near the mound and called, "Come home, my dear snake." To everyone's surprise, the snake appeared. Chijioke, with a sharp knife in his hand, waited for the snake to enter the house. As soon as it did, he jumped up and cut the snake into 2 pieces. He then cooked the snake meat and served it to Amaka. At first, Amaka did not know what she was eating, but as she tasted it, she realized it was snake meat. She cried and cried but could not stop eating. Chijioke watched her with cold eyes, angry at what she had done. Days later, Amaka's belly grew bigger. She became very sick and weak. Chijioke did not know what to do. He blamed Amaka for everything and became meaner to her every day. One day Chijioke decided to take Amaka deep into the forest. He brought along a sharp knife and said, "We need to find out what is inside you." Amaka begged and pleaded, "Please my husband, don't hurt me." But Chijioke was too angry to listen. He took the knife and carefully cut open her belly. As soon as he did, dozens of tiny snakes slithered out. They hissed and snapped, angry at being freed. The snakes moved quickly, biting Chijioke on his legs and arms. He screamed in pain and tried to run, but it was too late. Amaka, who was too weak to move, watched as the snakes attacked her husband. She could only cry as he fell to the ground, unable to escape the bites. The snakes turned toward Amaka. Her eyes filled with tears as they crawled over her. She whispered, "I am your mother. Please don't harm me." But the snakes, feeling betrayed, circled her slowly, deciding what to do next. The small snakes circled around Amaka, their tiny tongues flickering in and out. They seemed to be whispering to each other in a strange, hiss-like language. Amaka, terrified but too weak to move, begged once more, "Please, I am your mother. Don't harm me." One snake, larger than the others and with bright green scales, slithered up to her face and hissed loudly, "Mother, why did you betray our father, the great snake?" Amaka, with tears in her eyes, replied, "I did not betray him. I was forced to do this. I never wanted any harm to come to him or to you." The green snake seemed to think for a moment. "We will decide your fate, but you must prove that you love us," it said. Amaka nodded eagerly. "I will do anything you ask. Please, just forgive me." The snakes gathered in a circle around Amaka. The green snake spoke again. "Mother, if you truly love us, you must find a way to make us human. Only then will we forgive you and live with you in peace." Amaka was shocked. "Make you human? But how can I do that?" The green snake replied, "There is an old woman, a wise healer, who lives at the edge of the village. She knows the secret of turning snakes into humans. You must find her and bring her to us." Amaka knew of the old woman. Her name was Mama Ngozi, and many in the village believed she had special powers. With a new sense of hope, Amaka agreed to their demand. I will find Mama Ngozi and bring her to you. The snake slithered back into the forest, disappearing into the shadows, leaving Amaka alone with her thoughts. Amaka returned to the village, feeling both determined and scared. She asked around quietly, trying to find out where Mama Ngozi lived. Some villagers looked at her strangely, whispering behind her back, while others simply pointed toward a small hut at the edge of the forest. When Amaka finally reached the hut, she knocked on the door. A frail old woman opened it. Her eyes were sharp and wise, as if she could see right through Amaka. Mama Ngozi, I need your help, Amaka pleaded. She explained everything, the snake, the strange events, and the challenge the snakes had given her. Mama Ngozi listened carefully and finally spoke. You have caused great trouble, Amaka. The great snake was no ordinary creature. To turn your children human will require a great sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice? Amaka asked, her voice trembling. Mama Ngozi looked into her eyes. You must bring me the heart of a creature loved by the snakes. Only then can I make the potion that will transform them. Amaka felt a heavy weight in her chest. How would she find a creature loved by the snakes? She thought hard and remembered the stories she heard from her mother as a child. Stories about a rare white dove that lived in the deepest part of the forest. The snakes were said to adore this bird for its purity and kindness. Amaka decided she would find the white dove, no matter what. She packed some food and water and set out into the deep forest. She walked for hours, her feet growing sore, her body weak, but she did not give up. As the sun began to set, she finally heard a soft cooing sound. There in a tree was the white dove, as beautiful as she had imagined. But how could she catch it? The bird was high up, and she had no net or tools. She remembered an old trick her father once taught her, to use grains to lure the bird down. She scattered some grains on the ground and waited patiently. After a long while, the dove flew down to eat the grains. Amaka moved slowly, gently, and managed to catch the bird in her hands. Amaka returned to Mama Ngozi's hut with the dove. The old woman took the bird, nodded approvingly, and said, Very well. You have done what was asked. But now you must prepare for the ritual. It will be dangerous, and you must not show fear. Mama Ngozi lit a small fire in her hut and placed a pot over it. She whispered strange words into the fire, and the flames danced higher. She then took a small sharp knife and looked at Amaka. Are you ready? She asked. Amaka nodded, her heart pounding with fear and hope. Mama Ngozi quickly cut the heart from the white dove and placed it in the pot, adding herbs and powders. The mixture began to bubble and glow with a strange light. You must drink this potion, Amaka, Mama Ngozi instructed, handing her a bowl filled with the glowing liquid. It is the only way to save your children. Amaka took the bowl, her hands shaking, and drank it all in one gulp. The liquid burned her throat, and she felt a strange sensation spreading through her body. Amaka returned to the forest to find her snake children. She felt dizzy and weak, but she knew she had to complete the ritual. The snakes slithered out from their hiding places, sensing the magic in the air. The green snake hissed. Have you done what we asked? Amaka nodded. Yes, I have made the sacrifice. Now, come closer so that I may transform you. One by one, the snakes approached her. Amaka took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and began to chant the words Mama Ngozi had taught her. A bright light surrounded them, and the snakes began to change. Their scales shimmered, and their bodies started to stretch and grow. But then suddenly, the light flickered and dimmed. The transformation stopped halfway, and the snakes screamed in pain. Something was wrong. Amaka realized in horror that the transformation had not worked completely. Her children were now half snake, half human, and they were crying in agony. What did you do? The green snake human screamed at her. You promised to turn us into full humans. Amaka, now crying, replied, I did everything as I was told. Please forgive me, my children. The green snake human looked furious and hissed, If you cannot make us fully human, then we will remain like this forever, and you will pay for your failure. Amaka felt a deep sadness in her heart. She needed to find a way to help her children. There had to be another solution, another way to break this curse. Desperate to find another solution, Amaka decided to return to Mama Ngozi. There must be another way, she cried when she arrived at the old woman's hut. Mama Ngozi looked worried. There is one last thing you could try, she said slowly. But it is very dangerous. And it involves facing a powerful spirit that lives deep within the forest. What must I do? Amaka asked, her voice filled with determination. Mama Ngozi replied. You must find the spirit of the forest and ask for its blessing. But be warned. The spirit does not grant favors easily. You will need great courage. Amaka prepared herself for the journey. She knew it would be dangerous, but she was ready to do whatever it took to save her children. She kissed Ifunanya goodbye, telling her to stay safe, and set off once more into the depths of the forest. The path grew darker and the trees taller. Strange noises echoed around her, and she felt the eyes of unseen creatures watching her every move. But she kept moving forward, knowing that somewhere ahead, the spirit of the forest awaited. Would the spirit help her, or was she walking into even more danger? Amaka continued her journey deep into the forest, her heart beating fast with fear and hope. The trees grew thicker, and the air became heavy and misty. Strange creatures whispered from the shadows, but she kept her focus, determined to find the spirit of the forest. At last, she reached a clearing where a great tree stood, its trunk so wide it seemed to touch the sky. The air around the tree shimmered with a soft, green light. Amaka felt a powerful presence watching her. She knew she had found the spirit's home. "Spirit of the forest," she called out bravely. "I have come to ask for your blessing. Please help me save my children from their curse." A soft wind blew through the leaves, and a voice, deep and echoing, filled the clearing. "Why should I help you, Amaka?" the spirit asked. "You have meddled with forces beyond your understanding. You betrayed the great snake and now you seek my help?" Amaka fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "I know I made mistakes. I was selfish and scared. But my children are innocent, and they do not deserve to suffer for my choices. I am ready to do anything to save them." The spirit was silent for a moment, and then it replied. "Very well, Amaka. I will help you, but only if you prove that your heart is pure and you are willing to make the greatest sacrifice of all." Amaka nodded. "Anything. I will do anything." The spirit continued. "To break the curse, you must give up your life. You will never see your children again. But they will become human and live a normal life." Amaka's heart sank. The thought of never seeing her children again broke her heart. But she knew that if it meant freeing them from the curse, she would do it. "I accept," she whispered, her voice steady. The spirit nodded. "You are brave, Amaka. Close your eyes, and the transformation will begin." Amaka closed her eyes, feeling a warm light surround her. She felt her body growing weaker, but her heart felt lighter. She knew she was doing the right thing. The spirit's light grew brighter and brighter, and Amaka felt herself being lifted away. As the light faded, the snakes in the forest began to change. Their scales disappeared, and their bodies grew into human shapes. One by one, they became children with bright, curious eyes, no longer trapped in their snake forms. The green snake, now a handsome boy, stood up and looked around. "Mother," he called. But there was no answer. The other children looked confused, but they felt a strange peace in their hearts, as if they knew their mother had saved them. They walked back to the village, hand in hand, ready to start their new lives. Ifunanya, who had been waiting, ran to them with joy, hugging her brothers and sisters. The villagers were amazed when they saw the children. They had heard strange tales about Amaka and the snakes. But now they saw the truth with their own eyes. The children were accepted by the village, and Mama Ngozi took them in, promising to care for them as if they were her own. The village began to heal from the fear and uncertainty that had filled their hearts. They learned to be kinder and more understanding of things they did not understand. Even Amaka's husband, who had acted in anger, felt a deep sorrow for what he had done. He decided to live a life of humility and kindness, hoping to make amends for his mistakes. Years passed, and the story of Amaka and her children became a lesson passed down from generation to generation. The villagers taught their children, never act out of fear or anger, sacrifice for the ones you love, respect all creatures, great and small, seek wisdom before taking action. The village flourished with this newfound wisdom, and the children who were once snakes grew up to be wise and kind leaders, always remembering the sacrifice their mother made for them. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification